Hi, everyone. For my assignment, I'm going to be giving you a development check-in with the new educational game I am developing in Module 3. So, to backtrack a little bit, in Module 2, I was creating a card game that went over multiplication fluency skills. And I figured that that could be applied to the digital space. I'm sure that there's a game development tool that could replicate what I wanted to do with Fluency Frenzy, my Module 2 game. But I felt like there was something so personal about a card game, and I just didn't want to bring it to the digital space. I wanted to try to challenge myself and create a new game. Um, so I read a bunch of the recommendations that Professor Lewis had left for us, including Twine, GDevelop, Unity, and I was tinkering around with a lot of them, and I was really just playing with their functions and features, not exactly designing anything at a certain point. And then I kind of was stopping myself. I was like, maybe I should just think about what I actually want to design before I start to assess these game development tools. And then I realized that when I taught kindergarten last year, a big learning curve for them was sorting objects, whether it be by color, attribute, size. And then I also thought about the letters B, D, Q, and P, and how a lot of my students got those four letters mixed up because they look very similar. So I thought it would be beneficial for kindergarten classrooms to adopt a game where students not only have to sort, but they have to sort based on letter sound and letter attribute. So I landed on GDevelop 5. I was tinkering around and playing with some of their games. This one was Ball Cup Boom. It was really cool. You basically just put a bunch of balls in glasses and you try to sort them and come up with different patterns. And it's very advanced. Looking at all of the game events and how everything's arranged just looks like something that's completely out of my wheelhouse right now, just as a beginning game developer. But I wanted to take inspiration from the idea of sorting, and just do it in a little bit more of a simplified way for a younger audience. Um, so, okay, so here is the overall template of my game. Um, and so the way I organized it was I found a bunch of different objects, and I put them into groups. So there's a D group, a B group, a P group, and a Q group. And all of these portals, I guess you could say, are designated to a group as well. We have B, D, P, and Q. And so I want to have students drag and sort the images to the corresponding portal. And I'll show you what I have done so far. If it could just load. All right. So I also got a little aesthetic with it. I wanted to create just an eye-catching allure and appeal to the game. So I added a glow option so all of the objects within my game can glow. So one thing I want to point out is that as I'm touching and dragging my portals, they do not move, they're locked into space. But when I touch and drag my objects or items, they can go into whichever corresponding portal a student chooses. Another thing that I really enjoyed about GDevelop was that I can animate the objects myself, even though I did not create them. So for example, this is an animation of a donut spinning. However, if let's say a student can't recognize that right away, I had the full donut spin and then there's a plate of donuts that appear. So in a way, it kind of acts as a scaffold or multiple means of representation for when a student isn't sure where to put that image. Because so often I find when I give students worksheets that have B, D, P, and Q sorting, um, sometimes they're not sure what the image is. So then they end up putting it in a random column. And so I feel like with this, then they'll be able to have, multiple views and perspectives of one image. And I also just think that the animation itself, like this duck bouncing up and down, just brings a lifelike feel to it that you don't get with worksheets. So something that I'm still trying to figure out what to do with this is the actual scoreboard portion of this, a progress bar almost. Because right now, I've designated this the D portal for my own knowledge. But if I was to drag the duck here, there's no indication that I'm right. Or if I was to drag the duck to the B column, there's no indication that I'm wrong. So that's something I really want to figure out how to do. I've tried maneuvering some of the behaviors of objects, but that hasn't done anything. So if anyone is using GDevelop, please let me know if you know how to solve this issue or if I can just keep YouTubing. And then another thing that I wanted to do was, there's two more things. The first thing was I wanted to label my portals with like a capital B and a capital B and a lowercase b, just so that way students know what they're sorting what into. And then one thing I also wanted to do, just to spice up the game a little bit and make it feel like more of a game, was, I have so many tabs open, I apologize. Oh, so right here for Ball Cup Boom, when I play this game, I'll show you. Okay, let's see. So when I play this game, I don't know if you can hear, but there's some fun music that's playing in the background. There's animations all around. They have backgrounds that are not just a solid color, and you have an actual play button. And so in my mind, with my game, that has no name yet. It's maybe just a sort sound practice. I'm not really sure what to call it yet. I want to have almost like the objective of the game given to students, just like how you would give the standards to students when teaching them a lesson. And so I just feel like, that whole immersive nature of, oh, this is a game, this isn't just an exercise, like it frames it in such a different way that students would be more engaged and more enticed to participate in it. So if anyone knows how to do any of these animations or is willing to meet with me outside of class, I would really appreciate it. I think that this is a great opportunity to play around with different game development tools. But yeah, I would say for some tips, definitely go into it knowing what you're going to make, I guess. I feel like I was playing around with a bunch of game development tools without really knowing what I wanted to create, if I wanted to stick with my Module 2 game or if I wanted to create something else entirely. I kind of set myself up for a little bit of a loss of time. And then another thing that I did was once I finally landed on GDevelop, I did not save my work the first time. So I had to go back and do the whole thing again. And so it was very involved. I had to look up my objects again. I had to group my objects again. I had to animate my objects again, change the background, add the effects, the behaviors of my objects. So it definitely took a little bit longer for me to complete this assignment. But all in all, I would say that, experience is the best teacher, so I can't really complain. Now I have a better idea about what GDevelop looks like and does. So yeah, I'm excited to see your guys' games too, and please let me know if you have any feedback or suggestions, or, some names for this game. Thank you so much for watching, and have a great day.